What do you see as the end game here? I mean, you've mentioned we'll continue to pay for those elite experiences, but is it sustainable? I mean, when you think about what's happening in the loan environment, sounds like a leading question. It's not meant to. Genuinely curious if you're seeing that we're subbing in what you do for what we used to pay a lot of money for.
Well, I think it's going to go hybrid. I think that just as we work in a hybrid way, sometimes in offices, sometimes at home, I think they'll be on campus and off campus. Many people will be only online. But part of hybrid, too, is the hybridization between universities and industry. So we just talked today.
Shared costs?
Well, not necessarily sharing costs, but more sharing content. So we we shared today some really exciting results that we're seeing from Colorado University Boulder. They have a master's degree in data science. It's fully online on Coursera. But what they've done is they've said, you can start this degree program by taking open courses on Coursera for $49 a month. Anytime you want, go ahead and start. Now, you don't start in the degree program, but you start by taking courses that if you want to get into the degree program, they will count as credit.
Like prep school.
It's like prep, but it counts. And your admissions into the program is based on your performance in these courses. So there's no admissions process. It's much more affordable. And they are also integrating IBM content in. So it's not only coming from professors, it's also...
Does IBM promise you a job the way they do at P-Tech or something? Because that's from the high school model, right?
No, I think job promises, no. But job preparedness, yes. So I think that what's going to happen is the costs are going to come way down because more of the learning is going to happen in these scaled kinds of environments. The cost of production is going to be lower. The facilities, which cost a lot of money, are going to be downsized. And more learners will utilize property, plant, equipment, and faculty less than they have historically.
Well, I'm fascinated because as a CEO, as somebody who's in the ed tech education space, we do feel like we're on the cusp of a seismic change right now. And that's the way people are certainly thinking about not just generative AI, but education has sort of been one of the last frontiers to really have a digital transformation in a meaningful sense. How do you see this playing out? Because when I speak to other CEOs, they do talk about the displacement of jobs. You've got your own people internally, professors, et cetera. Do you see it being as profound a shift as certainly some of the headlines would suggest, or do you see it as a steady path?
I think it's going to be pretty profound.
And what's your timeline looking like? And how do you react when you saw ChatGPT? How did it change your mindset around what you do?
It's interesting. I know people who are software engineers, and the first time they saw ChatGPT, they said, this is just autocomplete. They were thinking about the technology. And indeed, that's kind of what it does. It predicts which tokens come next. Those tokens often being
sounds like
word
people who don't recognize an industry shift that could disrupt them.
Yeah, me as an English major, I said, it's writing really high-quality, coherent passages.
Doesn't do limericks well, I'll tell you that. Yeah, but yes,
it's working on them. So for me, I think it's a very big deal. I don't think it's going to necessarily displace all the jobs, but any job that is associated with the generation or manipulation of text, audio, images, and video, which media, any media-related job, not necessarily going to be disappearing. It's going to be fundamentally changed by these tools. And there's a lot of jobs in media. So and that also includes, instruction. And there's a lot of jobs in education. So I think it will have a big effect. I don't know exactly how, don't know exactly when, but I do know that adaptation and change is going to be required among all parties. I mean, among the students, among the faculty, among the institutions and the trustees. The employers are the fastest to change usually. And then the
profit incentive helps.
That's right. And they have the money to do it. Then they look for the employees. The employees then look for the skilling. And then the institutions need to skill them. But I think that universities and educational institutions who can understand the needs of employers and understand the needs of students and how they're changing and then adapt the way that they provide for those needs are going to be the ones that flourish. And I just showed today, there was a survey from Holland IQ in 2022. They asked universities globally, what are the biggest challenges you're facing? Number one was dealing with the digital adoption. So universities know the challenges here.
Dealing themselves with digital adoption as opposed to democratizing. I want to ask about the culture wars. How's that playing out for you? Since we've seen critical race theory, woke. I mean, head spinning, and yet
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
playing out certainly on campuses.
You know, we have, I think as part of the skills pay the bills. There's not
you feel like you're
I guess what I would say is I've just seen virtually zero evidence of anyone having any issue. They're like, look, I want to learn how to do the skill to do a
so
better
it
job.
doesn't play out that much.
It just doesn't show up on our radar screen. I think partly because what learners are looking for are those courses that usually have nothing to do with the culture wars. They're like, hey, I need to learn these skills to do a better job. And everybody wants that, whether you're on one part of the political spectrum or another one.